Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. While you're at it, if you're a YouTube user, make sure you enable notifications so they let you know every time a new episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast goes up. Guys, let's talk. Remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach, and since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises. When I try Blue Chew, I really noticed something extra. Now, this isn't just for guys who can't perform, it's for any guy who wants extra function to enhance their performance in the bedroom. Blue Chew is prescribed online and shipped straight to your door. It's in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor visits, no waiting in the pharmacy. The best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made in the United States, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment absolutely free when you use our special promo code FROPODCAST. Just pay the $5 shipping fee. Again, that's Blue, B-L-U-E, Chew.com, promo code FROPODCAST to try it free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice, and we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, you want your name in the shoutouts like Mike and Lansdale, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast to sign up today. Don't forget loyalty rewards. Any $15 a month contributor gets to co-host an episode of one of our live shows. Our $7.50 a month contributors get entered into a drawing to do so as well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this live episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. The Hall of Fame ceremony just concluded. We have lots to talk about. We'll be taking questions and comments through whatever chat feature you have in your streaming service. Give us your questions. We'll get you into the show right away. If you come up with a question during the show, you're a little shy, don't want to call in, that's all cool. Call the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line 267-642-1160. Give us questions, comments, anything you want us to talk about. Tell us who you are so we can give you credit for it, and we can take it in our talk-to-text service. The Pro Wrestling Sound Off line, you talk, it texts us your comments, and we'll get to it in a future show. If you've never been to the Pro Wrestling Podcast before, don't forget to go to our homepage at frowrestling.com, where you can preview all the topics coming to the show. It's a great way to come up with what you would like to discuss and be a part of the show yourself. So tonight, all kinds of craziness. The headline of the show, Bret Hart attacked. Anybody who was watching the Hall of Fame knows what I'm talking about. Insanity at the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. Bret Hart giving his acceptance speech on behalf of himself and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. A fan storming the ring, body tackling Bret Hart, taking down Natalya. And if you want to talk about a stupid move, I think virtually every superstar in WWE wanted to get a piece of the guy. The Big Show was out there, Braun Strowman, Drake Maverick even jumped into the ring. The New Day, Teddy Hart coming out of nowhere, waffling the guy, Dash Wilder pummeling the guy. Great stuff. Saving Bret Hart. Everybody just stormed the ring to come to the aid of the Hall of Famer. So craziness ensuing at the Hall of Fame ceremony. I feel bad for Bret because this was a very emotional moment for him. Obviously, Jim the Anvil Neidhart not able to be there. Natty was right there. I couldn't believe the guy took Natty down as well. Like, what a scumbag. You know, and we don't know who this person is yet. I love that if you watch online, go to Twitter, you could find video clips all over the place of Dash Wilder really walloping the guy as they're dragging him out of the ring. He gives him a stiff shot to the face, almost knocks the guy out. And that just shows you how stupid fans who are obviously either intoxicated or insane really are. I'm glad the guy got what he deserves. I hope he gets a whole lot more, and I hope they press charges to the fullest, because he ruined what was a genuinely special moment, Bret Hart being able to reflect on this amazing career with Jim the Anvil Neidhart. So that's the way we kick off the show. There's so much more to talk about, but that was just mind-boggling. There was other things at the show, too. I really got to say, nothing makes me happier than to hear Shawn Michaels plug All In. Billy Gunn's doing his speech or whatever, and Shawn Michaels getting on the mic and doing the plug for All In. I think that's really cool, especially when you hear how frustrated Vince McMahon has been at times with people like The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, or others who are going to be doing StarCast. The fact that he gets upset about that, to hear Shawn Michaels go out there and give Billy Gunn the plug that really, in the real world of professional wrestling, WWE is the only company that doesn't seem to want to acknowledge anybody, So I actually appreciate that he took the opportunity to do that. I don't know if that was planned ahead of time. I don't know if Vince is livid right now or Triple H is livid right now. I like that Triple H was poking fun at the Too Sweet chant, making fun of it, saying how it's not cool. Very cool stuff. The whole Hall of Fame was just amazing. And I love that they, the fans are so affectionate to some of these people. I thought that it was a genuine moment watching X-Pac take his place in the Hall of Fame, and you could tell that the guy at some level needed to hear the fans chanting the "You deserve it." I know it almost becomes cliche at this point. It seems like everybody who gets into the Hall of Fame, that's what they start chanting is "You deserve it, you deserve it." But he really does. He did so much throughout his career, and if he can't go in as a star by himself, then absolutely making him a part of this meant a lot. I thought they were extremely respectful of China to a level that I really didn't expect going into it. I love the acknowledgement that her sister was in the crowd, and Triple H almost getting emotional having the discussion. And I thought that was just amazing. I thought that, and it was a class act. I could have done without some of the stupid theatrics that they did at the end, but what would you expect from D-Generation X? Come on, that's what they were for. So, cool ceremony. I enjoyed the Hall of Fame. One of the better ones I've seen. I liked the new presentation coming down to the ring and all that. I thought the whole get-up this year was significantly better than in some of the previous years. So, good stuff. If you haven't seen it, get on the network. Watch the replay. Pay your $9.99 a month, at least for now, until they jack the prices up. Rumor has it that might be happening in the next 6 months, but definitely check that out. That was a very, very cool moment. By the way, right now, live voting, while we're on the air for this episode, for those who follow the podcast on a daily basis, you'll know that we have been doing a greatest matches of WrestleMania tournament all week long. We started out with choosing the number one match from each WrestleMania from the previous 34 WrestleManias. We bracketed them out, and then we put them into tournament brackets, and we've had fans voting all week long, and the voting tonight, right now, it is live, the final four voting. So if you have not voted yet, please get in there and do that. We would love to see you get your opinion into the polls and see who you would vote for. The link, if you don't have the link, go to my Twitter feed at Fro Wrestling, where the link is posted. Our website still has the Elite 8 up because it just closed moments ago, but go to Twitter. There's a direct link at Fro Wrestling for the final four. So, if you're listening to us through a streaming service, give us your vote right in the chat function. I'm going to keep my eye on the votes, and at the end of this show, we will know which two matches go into the final, and we will set that up tonight at midnight, and then you will be able to vote, and we will announce the winner on our next show after WrestleMania, greatest WrestleMania match of all time. For those who have no idea what matches are included in this late round of the tournament, I'm just going to shout out for you what we've got going on. So match one has been highly contentious. The voting every round has been so close, but Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from WrestleMania 3 are in the semifinal, the final four, against Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6. I actually didn't expect a Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior match to even be considered for something this lofty. And then the other match that is left in the card, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. So Shawn Michaels has been all over this tournament. You knew he was going to come down to be in the final round at some point. No matter what happened, Shawn Michaels is in the final. But definitely a cool situation, and I can't wait to see who you guys vote for. If you're using the chat function in your computer, just type who you want to win. It's all good. I'll take it. And I want to get as many votes as we can before the night closes. I see we already have 3 votes have come in the last 2 minutes. So make sure that you get your vote in there so your voice is heard as well. Moving on to the other news of the night, and like I said, just keep voting all night long. It's fine. Here's another vote just came in. I can't tell you where it's going, but the other big news of the night, kind of surprising, at the G1 Supercard for New Japan Pro Wrestling, Enzo and Big Cass invaded the G1 Supercard. Now, I've heard both of those guys in the past talk about how they didn't think they would ever work together again, but obviously that went out the window because they both showed up at the G1 Supercard. They got into a scuffle with the Gorillas of Destiny and and the Briscoe brothers right at the conclusion of the tag team championship match. So for those who follow New Japan, you know what I'm talking about. For those who were not aware, tonight there was a huge tag team match. Evil and Sonata from New Japan, the Guerrillas of Destiny, the IWGP tag team champions, PCO and Brody King, the Ring of Honor tag team champions, and in this 4-team match, winner take all, whoever wins was getting both the Ring of Honor and the New Japan Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championship. And the Guerrillas of Destiny end up coming out on top. They're the new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. They retained the IWGP Tag Team Championship. And the match concludes, and Enzo and Cass jumped the guardrail, attacked people. It felt like a shoot. It clearly it must be a work, but it felt like a shoot the way it was presented, and I thought it was fantastic. The G1 Supercard is actually still going on as we speak. There's been some amazing matches so far. I think the Zack Sabre Jr. Hiroshi Tanahashi match is like a dream match that was just waiting to happen. Kota Ibushi defeated Tetsuya Naito tonight for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Jay Lethal, Marty Scurll, and Matt Taven are in the ring now for the ladder match, and we still have Jay White versus Kazuchika Okada. There's just so much. Dragon Lee, the new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. The street fight with Bully Ray, he was supposed to take on Juice Robinson, turned into a 6-man tag team match. Flip Gordon, Juice Robinson, Mark Haskins defeated Bully Ray, Silas Young, and Shane Taylor. Kelly Klein won the Women of Honor World Championship. Rush defeated Dalton Castle in like 15 seconds and squashed him. And then Dalton Castle ended up turning on the boys. Jeff Cobb defeated Will Ospreay. It was a unification of the Never Openweight in the Ring of Honor Television Championship. So now Jeff Cobb is also the Never Openweight champion. And for me, one of the coolest parts of the night, one of my absolute favorites of all time, the Great Muta returns to wrestling at the Honor Rumble during the pre-show and ends up coming out at number 30. He gets eliminated by the eventual winner, Kenny King, who ended up eliminating Jushin Liger at the end of the Honor Rumble. But just a cool match, top to bottom, tons of talent on the show. New Japan and Ring of Honor really pulled out all the stops for this, and the show's not even over yet. So incredible matches, incredible action. What an incredible week for wrestling. For anybody who was paying attention last night was was NXT TakeOver New York. That was insane. I told people on a previous episode that the NXT TakeOver New York card could easily have been a WrestleMania card in and of itself. That's how good the card was, and it did not fail to deliver. From the first match with the War Riders all the way through the final, the crowning of the new NXT World Champion, Johnny Gargano, just top to bottom, insane matches. There were 4 matches on the card that could easily be considered 5-star matches. I mean, absolutely entertaining. Even the women's match was incredibly competitive, so hard-hitting, so believable. The Ricochet Aleister Black tag team match with the War Raiders, just incredible action non-stop. I mean, it was just top to bottom. Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle tore the house down. I mean, there was not a weak match on the card. It was incredible. And this is a testament to Triple H and building the NXT brand, because you don't see this kind of action on Raw and SmackDown. And hopefully Vince is paying attention. The people love this. NXT is easily the best wrestling in all of WWE Universe. Not even a competition. NXT is the best brand for WWE. That does not mean they have the best talent. It means they have the best action. They allow their stars to get over, and they do, and they're amazing. So if you haven't seen NXT TakeOver New York, make sure you check that out. It was absolutely incredible. Jim Ross, it was made official the other day. He is now officially the AEW TV announcer. He also is part of talent relations, but this weekend he ends up breaking the news that they have a TV deal that has not yet been announced, but will be starting in October, potentially a 2-hour show. That is a monstrous announcement for All Elite Wrestling. That's what fans have been waiting to hear. We know they're going to do Double or Nothing. We know they're going to do All In 2. They also announced a couple other shows, but we've been waiting to hear about the TV deal. Well, now apparently it's in place, and he made it clear it's a network that everybody has access to. Now, you can analyze that statement in a lot of ways. Maybe he's just blowing smoke, but I believe in my heart that he may actually have found, All Elite Wrestling that is, may have found a way to get a network television deal. Can you imagine Raw or SmackDown being on the, you've got Raw's going to be on its current channel, and they're going to have SmackDown move to Fox. They're taking over the world, and then say an ABC, an NBC, a CBS presenting All Elite Wrestling, a high budget, big ticket professional wrestling organization who they insist they're not looking to be competition to WWE. They're looking to be an alternative. But if you get a major network, I don't care what you want to do, you are becoming competition for WWE at that point. I'm not saying for taking WWE out of business. I think people confuse that when you talk about All Elite Wrestling and what it will do to WWE's business. One, it will force WWE to have better storylines and better booking because there will be an alternative out there. I don't ever think WWE will play second fiddle to anyone. They won that war against WCW. And WCW, despite the fact that they did take WWE down for 83 weeks, did so as a company that had been around for decades and finally got their stuff together. This is a brand new company. I don't expect it to be so instantaneous like some people do. I expect their product to be amazing. I expect the presentation to be amazing. And I expect people, if it gets on a major network, I expect people to tune in. And that's when you start getting mainstream coverage. And you start getting people, superstars, TV, movies, actors, actresses, musical acts, and everybody wanting to be a part of something exciting and new and fresh. And that's why you get people like Chris Jericho to go and sign with you, despite the fact that he doesn't have to wrestle for all this time he's been off, and he's still getting paid. You know, that's incredible because they really believe in the product. They believe in what they're doing. So congratulations, All Elite Wrestling, if the rumors are true. And if there really is a deal in place for October for a 2-hour time slot, I think that is an incredibly amazing announcement. And congrats to that company. Another big coming out of NXT TakeOver, Kushida. We knew that he left New Japan Pro Wrestling back in January. The word was he was going to Florida. He was going to go to Full Sail, and he was going to be a part of NXT. Well, it was made official. They show him signing a contract with Triple H. He's a part of the NXT brand. He was featured in ringside at NXT TakeOver New York. So Kushida is definitely a part of the roster. He is an incredibly talented wrestler. If you're not familiar with the work of Kushida, you've been missing out. Check out some New Japan Pro Wrestling on YouTube, on their channel, New Japan World, and check out Kushida because he is insanely amazing. They call him the time splitter. He's poetry in motion. His finishing maneuver is something that no one in WWE does. He's a light heavyweight, but let's be honest. When Rey Mysterio can win the World Heavyweight Championship by beating people like, The Big Show, Great Khali, and stuff like that, I have no problem believing Kushida could do the same thing. Ricochet's 190 pounds? I'd buy him as a world champion. Absolutely. Finn Balor looks like he's about 200. I'd buy him as a universal champion. So if I could buy that, why wouldn't I buy Kushida? Kushida is amazing, and I hope the fans of WWE and the whole WWE universe accepts him with open arms because he is nothing but poetry in motion when he's in the ring. The question of where is The Undertaker ahead of WrestleMania has been answered. There are photos leaked to a couple places online. He is definitely in New York City. Does that mean he'll be a part of the show? Well, the rumor is he may be coming out to interrupt the Elias musical presentation, even though Elias was online saying that WWE assured him that no one was going to interfere or cut him short or anything like that. I suspect The Undertaker may be the one to do that. I think it would be even more interesting if John Cena went to do that and then The Undertaker went to do it as well, and Cena and The Undertaker end up in a match together, because apparently Cena is definitely signed for a match. We just don't know against who or what he's going to do. Now, he came out today and he tried to play it off and act like he has no role at WrestleMania, but we all know that's nonsense. We know that he's going to be there. We know that the word has already been put out there in the streets that he has a contract for WrestleMania. So can't wait to see what he's going to do. Hopefully it's something that matters, not 3 minutes against The Undertaker like last year. Hopefully The Undertaker has something to do, because what's a WrestleMania without The Undertaker? He's been bragging about how the rumors of his demise are severely overstated or whatever, and then do something. Do something that means something, and hopefully we'll all see him tomorrow night. Rey Mysterio is somebody we're hoping to see tomorrow night, and it sounds like his status ahead of WrestleMania, he's good to go. He was at the Hall of Fame tonight talking in an interview with his son Dominic right beside him, talking about how his ankle's at about 95% better with the pain, about 90% range of motion. He has another day to heal up and get ready, but it's going to be great to see him in the ring. I'm almost disappointed. I think if he hadn't been able to go, WWE might have had to pull the trigger on a John Cena versus Samoa Joe thing or something like that. And at this point, because of him being healthy, I'm not sure we're going to get to see him in the ring. I'm still pulling for a Dean Ambrose involvement in something. I would not be opposed to seeing Dean Ambrose come out and wrestle almost pretty much anybody. Put him in the Battle Royal if you have to, but I'd like to see him do something more substantial. I know the show's 8 hours long. I don't care. It's WrestleMania. You have it on from noon to midnight. I'd still watch the whole thing. So, I feel bad for the people sitting out in like the nosebleed section though, 8 hours of sitting on your butt cheering when you know darn well the talent can't hear you from all the way up there. But that's where I'd be sitting because that's the only seats I ever buy. But we'll have to wait and see. By the way, anybody looking to go to Double or Nothing, there is a link on FroWrestling.com for 6 tickets to All In. Click on the link, go there, or they're on eBay. If you want to get a pair of tickets in Section 16, right on hard camera side, right near the entranceway, then go for it. Those tickets are out there for you. Make sure you check that out. There's a link on my page. Again, I still see some votes coming in. The final 4 of the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Just put your vote right into the chat feature or put it into the link through Twitter at Fro Wrestling. We're looking at Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat taking on Hulk Hogan versus The Ultimate Warrior. And we're looking at Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, WrestleMania, what was that? Good Lord, I can't remember, 14 at this point? 13, 14, 14, 13, 14. Yeah, 14. We'll go 14. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and they're taking on Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair, the retirement match where Ric Flair retires. So get your votes in. We need to see who's going to win and go on to the final match of the tournament. Back to the wrestling news. Brock Lesnar, Daniel Cormier apparently are on target to have their fight in UFC in August. Remember, when Brock Lesnar came back to WWE, one of the things he specifically wanted in his contract was the permission to be able to do another mixed martial arts fight for the UFC. And we've known for over a year now, Daniel Cormier is the fight that he wants. And Cormier wants Lesnar, Lesnar wants Cormier, making it happen. We still may see Cormier tomorrow at WrestleMania getting involved in that match. Maybe he'll end up costing Brock Lesnar the Universal Championship. I don't know. It seems kind of hokey that Dana White would allow his talent to do that. But if that's what he's willing to do, then so be it. But definitely some craziness going on. Gotta keep our eyes to see when that fight becomes official. But you would think sometime in the next month or two it's going to have to be announced because they need time to promote it. And who better to... Daniel Cormier, great on the mic. Brock Lesnar, his pro wrestling background is phenomenal. Obviously, he's got plenty that he could be saying. And these two would put on... This would probably break all the records for MMA, UFC buy rate for a pay-per-view. So I'm hoping the match gets done. Kurt Angle's role post-WrestleMania has been announced. He's going to stay with the company, and he's going to be in a backstage capacity as an agent, as a scout, as an assistant to try to help these younger talents get over, share the benefit of his knowledge. And apparently he's been going to Vince for a few months and made it clear to Vince that he's the one who wanted to retire. This is not something where Vince forced him to retire. He chose to retire because of the way his body feels after the last few matches he had. He wants to go out on the right way, and he wanted to do like a goodbye tour. That's why he's wrestled the last few matches he has, and now we'll see the culmination of that at WrestleMania. Yes, we'd all love to see somebody else go out there. I'm still pulling for Dean Ambrose to come out, waffle Baron Corbin, and take the match and have Dean Ambrose and Kurt Angle, because I think it'd be a great match, and it'd be certainly something we would appreciate more, and you could send off both wrestlers with an ovation that they both deserve. Bray Wyatt, Sami Zayn updates. First off, Bray Wyatt apparently is going through somewhat of a character change. He actually may be delayed another month or so, they're saying. I don't buy that. I think he's going to be back on Raw on Monday night. But Bray Wyatt apparently getting ready to come back, but even closer to returning is Sami Zayn, who has officially been spotted in New York City as well. There's a good chance maybe he appears at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens has no role in the show. We still got to wait and see what happens with him. They're talking about maybe adding him to the Randy Orton and AJ Styles match still. I think that would be a horrible idea. I want to see that match one-on-one. But we have to wait and see. But it sounds like both superstars are ready to return to the ring. Congratulations tonight going out to Zack Ryder and Chelsea Green. For those who don't know, they have been a couple for quite a while now, and now apparently for April Fool's he gave her a phony engagement ring only to surprise her with a real engagement ring after the fact. And I thought that's really cool and an interesting way to get engaged on April Fool's Day. And the last topic of the night, WWE presented the Hall of Fame this evening, and we all knew the inductees ahead of time, who was going in, and we could debate the merits of the Honky Tonk Man and Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Torrie Wilson, Harlem Heat, the Hart Foundation, D-Generation X, or whatever you want to debate. But the reality of the situation is, this year, I'm particularly proud of the WWE Legacy Award winners. For those who don't know, these are usually given to wrestlers who are no longer with us. They passed away, they are not here to accept the award, and it's given to people who really were influential in the business in some way in the past. Now, there's a whole list of people who go in every year. There's more than I'm going to talk about tonight. But the ones that I want to talk about tonight, I want to talk about because during my experience of early wrestling fandom, every one of these people made an impact on me as a wrestling fan, and I'm thrilled that they all got an opportunity to be highlighted. I'm going to start with SD Jones. For a lot of people are like, why would this jobber? SD Jones, I don't think ever had a winning match. If he did, it had to be like a one and done thing. SD Jones was the guy who built up everybody. When you went to WWF at the time, he was the guy who would help you get over. He'd get beat up, thrown around the ring, squashed by, the one-man gang or destroyed by the boss man. He was always a baby face, and he got every heel over, every monster heel. He's the guy who King Kong Bundy squashes in like 10 seconds at WrestleMania 1. You know what I'm saying? But as much as I complain about Koko Beware and Hillbilly Jim and certain people being in the Hall of Fame, the reason I do that is because I feel like Koko Beware and Hillbilly Jim are lauded as being just these incredible superstars, and they weren't. Was Koko Beware funny? Yeah, he was. Did I like his song Pile Driver? I actually enjoyed the song, sure. I liked Hillbilly Jim's Don't Go Messing with a Country Boy. Of course I did. But I never appreciated their in-ring work because they had the aura or the persona of being an amazing talent, and they just never won. Hillbilly Jim won a few times here and there. Koko Beware would win a squash match against some jobber every now and again. But you put either one of them in there with anybody of any substance, and they'd lose. The one exception is when Hillbilly Jim beat Andre the Giant a couple times when he was filling in for Big John Studd when Studd left after WrestleMania, 5. I never liked either one of them being in. Now, SD Jones, he was a jobber his entire career. But one, he's not getting the regular Hall of Fame induction. He's getting a legacy award. Two, he had a role to play. He wasn't built up as a megastar. He wasn't built up as a superstar. He was a jobber. But he was a consistent jobber. He was the jobber everybody knew. Everybody liked. It's like Rene Goulet was one of those jobbers everybody knew. Iron Mike Sharp, everybody knew. There's certain guys who that was their job. They were never meant to be and never made out to be a successful wrestler. So that's the difference. Koko Beware, when he came in, he got that nifty song, and he's got the bird, and right away you expect the flashy outfit, you expect him to be a superstar. And he doesn't win anything. You have Hillbilly Jim, he gets boots from Hulk Hogan, he's standing at ringside for a few months, he gets in the ring, he beats up a few low-life losers, and then he does nothing with his career. Really. I mean, nothing of any seriousness, and neither one of them ever held a championship. SD Jones actually held a few titles other places. I know Koko Beware did too, please don't beat on me over Koko Beware. But my point is, in WWE, SD Jones had a role to play, and he always played it well. Wahoo McDaniels, one of the most decorated, underappreciated Native American wrestlers in the history of the business, one of the monstrous influences on people like Ric Flair and several others. Ken Patera talked about Wahoo. The Iron Sheik talks about Wahoo. Yeah, what a great guy he was, how tough he was. Former professional football player, became a professional wrestler. He did so much. And for me as a fan, he did something that I will always thank him for. He is the man who put over Magnum TA for the NWA United States Championship. That's what launched Magnum TA's career. And Magnum TA was one of the first people I just latched onto. I was a diehard for. And that was all courtesy of Wahoo McDaniels being smart enough to know the business and knowing he had a megastar blossoming right in front of him and agreeing in that time where not everybody always agreed. Back then, he agreed to do the honors to put this kid over and make him a star. And I've always appreciated that. And Wahoo McDaniels always doing the right thing. Toured every company there is, WWE, AWA, NWA, all over the world. Just an incredible, incredible talent. Congratulations to Wahoo McDaniels. Playboy Buddy Rose. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people think, oh, that's that fat guy in WWE who was 271 pounds, and the announcer, he would yell at her, tell him to say it was 217 pounds. The reality, though, is, and many people may not know this, is that he was a major star in the Pacific Northwest, and he is the man, the wrestler who really put Roddy Piper on the map. He feuded with Piper in Oregon. Piper had other feuds with Chavo Guerrero down in California and things like that. But Playboy Buddy Rose really put Piper on the map and got him the reputation. They got him auditions in New York, which didn't work out the first time he went to New York and auditioned. There was some shenanigans by some of the managers back then. Fred Blassie and some of those guys messed with his bagpipes, made him look like a fool in front of a bunch of WWE higher ups. He didn't get to go in at that time, but he goes back to Portland and wrestles Buddy Rose some more before the NWA comes calling and brings him in to work with Ric Flair and Jack Briscoe and Gerald Briscoe and those guys, and eventually Greg Valentine and the dog collar match and all those things. None of those would have happened without Playboy Buddy Rose wrestling Roddy Piper out in the Pacific Northwest. And when Buddy Rose goes elsewhere, he goes to the AWA, wins a tag team championship with Doug Summers. They have sensational Sherry Martel as their manager, and they hold the tag titles through this incredibly long run against the Rockers. They're the team that put the Rockers on the map. So I feel like Buddy Rose, for all that some people might think he's just a jobber, really did do some really cool and creative things, and I'm glad to see him inducted. Luna Vachon, one of the most unique female talents in the business, the shaved side of the head, the like devil worshipping hard rock heavy metal looking insane lunatic character that she played from that incredible Vachon family, and she did so much for so many. Now I know she was never WWE Women's Champion, whoop-de-doo. Neither was Tori Wilson. She's in the Hall of Fame too. And again, this is somebody who's not going into the regular Hall of Fame. I think somebody got the impression that these Legacy Award winners are all the deceased people. We've had people who were no longer with us, like Jim the Anvil Neidhart tonight, who got into the Hall of Fame. We honor those who their contributions were at that level. This is a special award for people who, you know, think of it in terms of baseball or football. You got to get a certain number of votes to get into the Hall of Fame. This award is where maybe if they were doing a voting system like that, you might not get enough awards, but they put you in anyways because you deserve it. Luna deserved it. Whether it's her time in various independent companies, the AWA, WWE early years, or all the way at the end of her career with Bam Bam Bigelow or whatever. She always was an interesting character. She was with Gangrel for a while with the Brood. I mean, she was always involved in something, and she was always contributed, and it was always meaningful. And that's a big thing, the level of how much it was important and meaningful to the business. We've got female talents, you know, Tori Wilson. She did a lot at that time during that more adult period of WWE history. I'm sure whatever sex appeal she had to the camera was important back then, but nowadays we're all about the athleticism. Luna Vachon was an athlete. She was a pro. She was absolutely over when it came to that, and she was a monster. She was almost like the inspiration for China, who also went into the Hall of Fame tonight. So congratulations, Luna Vachon. And finally, I cannot describe in any other words other than just so overdue, Bruiser Brody, probably the greatest, most physical brawler in the history of professional wrestling, losing his life way too young, being stabbed in Puerto Rico, and being taken from us way too soon. Frank Goodish's real name. Just an amazing, amazing wrestler. Never really got the opportunity to headline for WWE because he was growing up in an era where you had to protect yourself. And you had to be careful with your bookers and your promoters and what you would allow them to do and the promises they would make to you and then they would break to you. And he was always just on guard. So he traveled a lot, world class, WWE, NWA, AWA. He went pretty much everywhere. He was a huge, monstrous star over in All Japan Pro Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling and all the Japanese promotions. He made a phenomenal tag team with Stan Hansen for quite a while. I mean, just an amazing talent. And he was so over in World Wrestling Council down in Puerto Rico, which is where, unfortunately, he met his untimely demise at the hands of this situation that I guess I should tread lightly when I talk about it, but there was a gentleman who apparently stabbed him who swears it was self-defense, even though that doesn't seem to be the story that anybody who was there seems to claim. Tony Atlas was there, Ric Flair, certain other people were there, and they insist that it didn't go down that way, but this guy was exonerated by the investigators in Puerto Rico and automatically just assumed that he didn't do anything wrong. He went on to continue his wrestling career while Bruiser Brody was taken from us. But congratulations to Bruiser Brody and his family for going into the Hall of Fame. It's one that is so overdue. Probably should have gone in. I mean, you could have easily put him in the first or second year. That's how important he was to the professional wrestling industry. It's really a shame that he didn't. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us in our next episode. We'll give you the winner of the greatest WrestleMania match of all time based on your votes. I still have some votes coming in right now. Special thanks, as always, go out to bensound.com and purpleplanet.com. They produce all the music and sound effects in our shows. Today's podcast sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bringing a new friend to family game night is easy with sketchy people. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beazle Games by going to frowrestling.com and clicking the icon in the middle of the screen to pick up your copy today. And to AlleyRepair.com. Contact Alley Repair repair today for servicing all your classic skee-ball, pinball, and arcade game needs. If you're sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling video game, stop immediately and go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available exclusively through Facebook. Create your wrestler, sign contracts, get involved in storylines, headline pay-per-views, even build your own corporation, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users totally free. If you're looking for your next career move, you're considering college, university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our sister website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. If you want to support indie wrestling, make sure you go to frowrestling.com, click the indie events tab at the top of the page to check out action coming to your area soon. Also, check out my editorial pieces on my blog, In Fro's Corner, also at frowrestling.com. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Mr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking some time with us tonight. If you're looking for more wrestling news and rumors, go to www.tsj101sports.com for their latest articles on the world of pro wrestling. And until the next time, take care, everybody. Enjoy WrestleMania tomorrow. See the whole show. Sit through it. You've earned it. Give yourself the day. Enjoy the day. Enjoy everything about WrestleMania, because it is definitely going to be an incredible, incredible show. It is stacked top to bottom. Look at that. They're cueing the exit music. Wait! We can't leave this show yet. We got to do the most important part of the show. It's the WrestleMania show. We got to give the WrestleMania predictions. I don't know why they're queuing up my music already. Don't be kicking me out yet. I got predictions to do. So here's the thing. If we are going to go down through the card, I understand some of this stuff is absolutely, it's almost foregone conclusion who's going to win certain matches. I get that. But at the same time, I'm one of those people at WrestleMania, I always feel like they have to change some stuff. They really do. They got to give us something shocking, something we're not expecting. So I don't know which ones are going to be the surprises. So in my predictions, I'm just going to wing it the best I can. I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win what, and hopefully we go from there and we get some resolution as to what's going to happen. Now, the main event of the show will go last, because I still haven't made up my mind on that. It's a little bit insane, but it is what it is. But going up through the rest of the card, you've got the Women's Battle Royal. Right now, Asuka is the plus 250 favorite for the Women's Battle Royal. I don't see any way to let anyone else win this except maybe Naomi, because she was complaining. It seems like right now WWE tries to satisfy whoever complains. Well, Naomi was complaining, so maybe she gets the opportunity to win the Battle Royal, but she won it last year. She never did get her championship shot. I think they give it to Asuka to set up a feud with Charlotte going forward for the SmackDown Women's Championship. If Charlotte is able to keep that belt, I know it's a winner-take-all situation. I feel like they have to find a way to get one to SmackDown, one to Raw, and I think Asuka is going to be the one to make that happen. So whoever wins, Asuka is going to get a shot at them. When you look at the Men's Battle Royal. The Men's Battle Royal, like, to be perfectly honest with you, it's almost ludicrous. The names that are on the list, there's nobody that really matters except Braun Strowman. I think it's pretty obvious Braun Strowman is the odds-on favorite. There's certain guys they don't even give odds to. Curtis Axel, Shelton Benjamin, no odds, none whatsoever. Jinder Mahal, no odds. Kalisto, Grand Metalik, Lince Dorado, Bo Dallas, none of these guys even have odds. Gallows and Anderson, Otis and Tucker, EC3. Well, actually, EC3 is a plus 2,500, so I guess I shouldn't say that. Conor McGregor's a plus 5,000, so I guess somebody thinks Conor McGregor might show up. Hulk Hogan is a plus 5,000. I suppose they think he might show up. Bray Wyatt, plus 2,500. He's got as good a chance of winning as most of the rest of the field. Lars Sullivan, plus 1,600. So there's a few guys who are on the list that at least Vegas thinks somebody be silly enough to vote for. After Braun Strowman, the next best odds at winning is actually Andrade. Andrade is a plus 1,200, but Braun Strowman, the odds-on favorite, at a plus 120. So I'm going with that. Braun Strowman wins the Men's Battle Royal. And I don't know why. It's almost like a waste of time, to be perfectly honest with you. Buddy Murphy versus Tony Nese for the Cruiserweight Championship. The odds makers say Buddy Murphy's a minus 180. I get it. I've voiced my opinion in the past. Buddy Murphy is absolutely an incredible cruiserweight, and I'm happy he's getting this long run with the belt. But I really want Tony Nese to win this match. It's the first one I'm going to go against the odds makers. I'm going with Tony Nese just because that's how I'd book it. The guy's been in the division for forever. He deserves it. Give him his shot with the belt. We got the Boss and Hug connection, Beth Phoenix and Natalya, the Iconics, and Nia Jax and Tamina for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Boss and Hug are the minus 260 favorite. Beth Phoenix and Natalya were significantly underdogs, and now they've moved up into the moved up a bit, plus 500. The Iconics are actually the second best odds at plus 250, but Boss and Hug are just incredibly over right now. Their reign has not been long enough. I don't see any chance of them taking the belts off them, so I predict the Boss and Hug connection keep their championships. Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio, to me, this match is a throwaway. Rey Mysterio has a lengthy history at WrestleMania. Samoa Joe's never even appeared at a WrestleMania, so I think Samoa Joe wins this one going away. He's the odds-on favorite, minus 250 to Rey Mysterio's plus 170. Samoa Joe wins the match. The match is essentially pointless. Kurt Angle, Baron Corbin. Kurt Angle, the minus 250 favorite. Baron Corbin, the plus 170 underdog. I would not be surprised here to see Vince pull a swerve, and I don't mean about changing his opponent. I mean about having Baron Corbin win his retirement match. I think that would be incredibly horrible. You'd be booed out of the building, but Vince is the guy who says to himself, well, Corbin's going to be on my roster for the foreseeable future. If I get him that nuclear heat for beating Kurt Angle in his final match, that makes him a monster heel, and I can promote that. So I could see where he might do that. I pray to the heavens he doesn't. I'm still pulling for Dean Ambrose to come out, waffle Baron Corbin, and take his match from him. But if it stays as it is, wow, they're going to do the right thing. Give it to Kurt Angle. I got to go Kurt Angle. I have to, even though I feel like Vince might be that guy and go the other way. Randy Orton, AJ Styles. Randy Orton, the minus 165 favorite to AJ Styles plus 125. A little surprising to me that AJ Styles, who holds the SmackDown Championship or the WWE Championship for over a year and all this stuff, now he can't seem to pick up a win against anybody. And now he's the underdog in this match against Randy Orton. Now, he just signed a new contract, and Randy Orton's contract is up in a year. So you got to wonder, what would make more sense here? I guess I'll go with Randy Orton as well, just because I think it's been too publicized that Randy Orton was going to win. I really don't think they're going to change course on that, so I'll go with it. Randy Orton wins, defeats AJ Styles, as much as I don't want that to happen. The most pointless match on the card, The Miz versus Shane McMahon. Miz is the minus 250 favorite to the Shane McMahon's plus 170. I don't even know why this match is on the card. I really don't. It's a ludicrous match. It makes no sense to me. Shane McMahon is not a wrestler. He's just not. I'm so glad he can jump from turnbuckle to turnbuckle and kick a trash can. Rob Van Dam was doing that long before he was. That's all he does, and jump off of things. Whoop-de-doo. You got airbags and everything you jump off. I don't know why this match is even happening. The Miz is the odds-on favorite. I take The Miz as well. I don't know why. Maybe set up The Miz for something bigger later, but I find the match to be just utterly boring. Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor. Finn Balor, the minus 600 favorite. Those odds are incredibly high, especially because he's coming out as the Demon character. Finn Balor wins, not even a question. Roman Reigns, the minus 300 favorite over Drew McIntyre's plus 200. I would actually have Drew McIntyre win this match. I really would. I know Roman Reigns, the leukemia thing, first singles match, blah, blah, blah. I give it to Drew McIntyre. And you know what? I'm going with that. Drew McIntyre upsets Roman Reigns in his return to the company because they can draw in the sympathy fans and get more people to support Roman Reigns if they do it that way. And it puts Drew McIntyre over in a way that could potentially set him up for a Universal Championship match if Seth Rollins is able to win that championship. We'll have to wait and see what I predict for that. Triple H versus Batista. Triple H is the minus 400 favorite to Batista's plus 250. I buy it. Triple H isn't going to stop wrestling. He'll do a spot appearance here and there, so he has to win. I almost was curious why they didn't have it be career versus career so that Batista couldn't come back again if he loses. Because let's face it, I actually love watching Batista wrestle. The guy's kind of a dirtbag in face-to-face. I met him. He treated me like crap, so I have a little bit of resentment towards the guy. But as a wrestler, I think he's phenomenal. But he's 50 years old. He's not going to keep doing this much longer. They should have just made it career versus career. That way, it would have put the nail in the coffin of his career. And we won't have to ever speculate on one more match. When he goes into the Hall of Fame someday, because he will. We won't be cheering the one more match chant, hopefully, because that would have been sealed the deal with Triple H. Instead, Triple H's career is on the line, and we all know that's not going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see, but I predict Triple H wins that match. The match that I think everybody wants to see the most, and I'm saying that because I think they want to see it more than the main event, Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. Daniel Bryan is the underdog, plus 180. Kofi Kingston, the favorite, at minus 270. I cannot envision a scenario where Vince McMahon puts the championship on Kofi Kingston. And for that reason, that's exactly why I think Kofi Kingston will win the championship. Somebody's going to get through to Vince and tell him this is best for business. That stupid catchphrase. They're going to put the belt on Kofi, and I'm going to be thrilled to see it. If they don't, that place may riot. That's how much everybody wants Kofi to get it. Even tonight at the Hall of Fame, watching the fan cheers when they put the camera on Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. Insane. Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, the minus 140 favorite. Brock Lesnar, the plus 100 underdog. That match's odds have shifted every hour on the hour for the last 3 days. And Brock was the favorite only 2 days ago. Now Seth Rollins is back to being the favorite. I don't know where they go from here. I hope they give it to Seth Rollins because we need to see that championship featured on Raw. That's my prediction. Seth Rollins walks out champion. And the quote-unquote main event. It was a lot hotter if they would have had this match 3 months ago. Now it's kind of cooled off with all the theatrics. Becky Lynch, the minus 350 favorite. Charlotte Flair has moved up to the second favorite at plus 300. And Ronda Rousey, the plus 450 major underdog in the match. All I know here is Ronda's definitely not winning. So that tells me Becky Lynch probably will walk out with the championship. I thought it was curious that Seth Rollins was asked his opinion. And he said that Becky Lynch deserves it, as did Roman Reigns. He said the same thing, because the rumor is that Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are an item now, which, incidentally, in WWE couples news, so are Charlotte and Andrade, apparently, seen together tonight at the Hall of Fame together, and there was rumors rumbling about that to begin with. So I guess it's that time. I got to make my official prediction, and I officially say Becky Lynch wins and takes both championships, which is kind of what they've been building to for the better part of, 5 months now, ever since Becky Lynch got so popular and over with the crowd. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. But that's the predictions. We'll wait and see what happens, see how many I get right, how many I get wrong. Please enjoy the entire show. It's going to be a great pay-per-view, and I can't wait to see it myself. I'm going to be sitting there for 8 hours watching it myself. So until next time, go ahead, cue the music this time. Until next time, I will, I always appreciate, guys, please click the subscribe, click the notification tab in YouTube so that we get you notified the minute our episodes go live. Till next time, guys, take care. Have a great night.